Well, head us down a rabbit hole and let's see where we come out.
Welcome to the show. I'm Scott Thompson.
I'm Ashley Blackford.
We're going to go down the rabbit hole, Ashley, with Doug Smith, OOIDA board member. You just heard him there. We'll hear from him in just a moment. Doug's been driving for more than 50 years, I believe it is. Yeah. He's obviously done a lot. Looking forward to talking with him. Always a good chat to be had there. And Ashley, I think you were introduced to him even before you started working here.
Yeah.
Kind of in a way,
yeah. Big, Jellystone Yogi Bear fan, because like to camp, right?
Oh, the camping, yes, right.
And Shipping Wars.
Yeah, he appeared on
He was on Shipping Wars and was a big, always wore OOIDA stuff, and so that's when I kind of first, made the connection, and so anybody who's a fan of that show might recognize him. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to ask him about that.
We will ask him about that for sure, and a bunch of other stuff as well. After we wrap with Doug, we're going to talk a little bit about phone etiquette based on a social media post about how Gen Z answers a phone call. I'm wondering, we talk about these kinds of things in the office with Tennille Flick, who's our Chaos coordinator,
traffic
coordinator.
Her official title,
Maybe
I think.
we should bring her in for this chat.
She'll probably have a good opinion about it.
Probably. I'm not sure it'll be a good opinion.
She'll have an opinion about it.
She'll have a strong opinion about it. I think we can safely say that for sure. One item of business here, Ashley, before we get to Doug Smith. President Trump, as we know, campaigned on a promise to deregulate, and we've seen some of that taking place already for trucking-related matters. But there is a comment period right now that FMCSA opened up. It actually ends today on Tuesday. They're proposing 18 deregulatory actions. One would rescind the requirement that rear impact guards must be permanently marked or labeled with a certification from the manufacturer. That one has the support of industry groups like OOIDA. Other proposals in there as well, including rescinding the requirement that you keep the ELD operator's manual inside your vehicle. Yes, that is a regulation. Having spare fuses, things like that. But if you want to comment and let FMCSA know what you think about these proposals, maybe you've got your own ideas. I'm sure you do about ways to deregulate the industry. Our friends at Landline Magazine have the full story, complete with links at landline.media. But please do, if you're going to do that, do it today.
Yes.
Because the comment period ends this evening for sure.
Yeah, super important to get your voice heard on many different things. And if you want other issues, bathroom access, truck parking, cargo theft, overtime pay, head to fightingfortruckers.com. You can get your opinions out on those bills at that website there. Let's get to Doug Smith on the line. He is an OOIDA board member and has led a very interesting life. Thanks for joining us, Doug. What are you up to today?
Well, today I'm going to go out to cell tower site, take the material to the top of the mountain with a smaller truck. They've been using a skid steer loader, and they want a truck to haul some stuff up there. So I'm going to go out there and see if I can climb the hill.
Is that a question of whether you're going to be able to do that?
Well, you think you can until you get there and you can't. It's happened.
Has it happened, really?
Oh, yeah, but then we take haul a loader out there and drag ourselves up the rest of the way.
That sounds like a long day.
It can be, but it's rewarding, it's interesting, and it's different than swinging doors and counting pallets of frozen chickens.
Yeah, that's true. All about perspective, I guess, right?
Do you ever get stressed out over these things? You don't really know what you're doing until you get there, right?
I'm sure I have. I just can't remember it.
That's probably good, though.
It's like, you forget the pain. I guess like being a mother.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very true.
I guess we should probably talk about what exactly you do, too, because, what you do is a very specific type of thing that I think a lot of people find interesting. Talk a little bit about that, and maybe also how you got into that, specifically.
Well, I started out with structural steel, and my father-in-law was a steel erector, and so I got to haul a lot of the bridges that are now part of I-15 and hauled beams that became part of skyscrapers in downtown Salt Lake, hauled a lot of construction materials that incorporated into the freeways and railroads and airports around here. We've hauled, thousands of tons of steel down to California to build cement plants. But for the last 25 years, I've just been hauling heavy equipment. and I find that helps to keep me limbered up somewhat. I won't go out and work out, but if somebody's paying a couple $100 an hour for a big truck, I'll go throw chains 10 reps.
Yeah.
And get my exercise that way.
Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. How did you get into trucking?
Well, I'm third generation, so that's how. But at age 16, my dad said to my mother, well, we might as well ruin his life too. And he sent me out with a driver to teach me.
Do you remember? I mean, I'm sure you do. I shouldn't say most, a lot of teenagers, look at kind of what their parents do and think to themselves, I do not want to do that. Like my father's a professional drummer, and I remember having that memory early on thinking, that seems like a pretty cool gig, but I do not want to do that. Do you remember having any of those thoughts when you were younger before they kind of dragged you into it at age 16? Early on, what did you think about it?
Well, I thought I was going to be a school teacher, and I got a few years in the university, and I kept running into the math requirement, and I couldn't get it. We were still using slide rules, and I just couldn't get past the math requirement to get any degree at all. So I just kept doing the summer job, but then graduated doing it year round, and here I am today. My dad died when I was 25, and so I was left at that time with a mother and some siblings to feed, and a brother who was also in the business, with working for Dad. And we ran his truck, my truck, and then my mother's trucks. We ran for her, and it grew from there. But we were able to take care of Mom in fine order. And 25 is a little early to lose your dad when you're the youngest.
Yeah.
You're the oldest, really, and he was only 47 when he died.
Wow.
Chronic lung problems, but he never did smoke, and he got a lot of people to quit smoking. He would say, "I am fighting for every breath, and you are throwing yours away."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Was that obviously that was a difficult time, but at that point, did you kind of, I would imagine, gain kind of a new appreciation for what your father had been doing and what he had done for your family?
Yes, because he was physically limited, yet he managed to, pay for a house by the time he was 47, and a couple of trucks. He'd had a partner that had stolen everything, and he used to have about 30 trucks. They hauled steel from the Geneva Steelworks, which is now gone, but it was a plant that was built in Salt Lake to be off the West Coast in case of Japanese attack in World War II. So we would haul steel to the West Coast, and his partner stole all that business and bankrupted it. And so we were left with 2 trucks. He decided to go back into construction, and that's where he was. We were doing that when he died. And I got out the yellow pages and started calling every contractor in the book. And one of the biggest contractors in the nation had a job going on at the Air Force Base here. And they said, "Yeah, come on up." And we put a couple trucks there, and we began a relationship that continues to this day. I mean, we are working for them this day. And it was just honesty is what kept you getting to the next job. You never double billed. You never cheated on your time. I gave them an extra 15 minutes a day because I didn't want to take 15 minutes a day. It took another half hour to make another trip. So I gave 15 instead of taking 15. And it has paid off well.
Yeah, that still holds true today.
Yes. You can only cheat your customer once, and then it's not your customer anymore.
Yeah. At what point did you realize, like, okay, trucking, like, this is what I'm going to do. This is my career?
I can't say when that aha moment was. That's kind of like you're saying, well, I give up. I'm going to be in trucking.
Well, yeah, no.
No, I enjoy it. I always enjoyed it. I enjoyed being good at it. And being able to back up at 25 or 30 miles an hour to a paver a quarter mile away. I really enjoyed that because people would look at you and like, wow, "Do you see that? He's grabbing gears in reverse." That's when we had, 4-speed Brownie.
Yeah.
Or you'd roll off a hill backwards, hit 30, 35 miles an hour, thinking, "Man, if I screw up, it's going to be ugly."
It's going to be bad. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So you're talking a while ago. You've been in the industry now for, what is it? Is it 50 years? Is that right? Am I getting that right?
56. I'm going on 57 now.
Wow.
But that's because I started behind the wheel at 16.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is maybe a loaded question, but obviously a lot has changed in 56 years, just generally speaking, for all of our lives. But what do you see as maybe being some of the things that have stayed the same over the past 56 years, and maybe some of the things that have changed the most? And I think it's an interesting, I'm looking forward to your answer, because I think younger people these days, and I guess you could say this of every generation, don't fully understand maybe what it was like back in those days. And again, I know I'm sounding old now too by saying that, but I think it's interesting, that perspective. What has changed, what has stayed the same?
Well, what has stayed the same is we are still treated as a default occupation by your high school guidance counselors. Even in musical lyrics, Rick Nelson saying, "Well, I'd rather drive a truck, rather than go to the garden party," or whatever that song was about. Mm-hmm. But they still treat this as like unskilled labor. But if you are not literate, you are not successful. And if you see the English proficiency thing, that's almost like being illiterate.
Yeah.
Not being unintelligent, but you're really handicapped. Absolutely.
Why do you think that stayed the same all these years, though, that perception? I mean, you would think that by now people would understand what a difficult and, worthwhile career it is. You basically are saying that you don't think that feeling is I guess, universal or shared by a lot of people.
Well, we're looking at a career that spans the gamut from highly professional technical work to, can you hold the steering wheel and keep between the lines? And there's a broad range in between those. Now, you work all your life to get to a point where you're good enough at what you do that people call and say, "Are you available?" Not, "How much will this cost?" Mm-hmm. Because they want you to go do this, because they can check it off their list of things to worry about. They can count on whatever happens, you're going to handle it. And then there's the, can you take this box of furniture down the road 200 miles and back it up to somebody's front door? There's a wide difference in the skill levels of the different truck driving occupations, and we can't lump it all in one. So that perception of, the guys that can go do this simple task to the guys that everybody in the industry admires them for their skill. Like, you see these guys moving a twin-lane trailer with a 250,000-pound transformer on it, pushed by 4 other tractors and pulled by one more in front of it. And they take all day long to move 50 miles. Nobody looks at that guy and says, "Oh, he got his CDL yesterday."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's changed over the 50+ years?
Equipment reliability,
mm-hmm.
and the complexity of it all. I changed an accessory drive at the side of the road, and now it'd take you half a day to get down to it.
Mm.
And that's the drives the belts in the front of the engine. You take the gears apart and put a new parts in there. My dad once changed 2 cylinders on the side of the rest area.
Mm.
And 85% of a towing company's business now is emission-related problems on new trucks. The old trucks didn't have that problem. You'd go along till a truck passed you, and then you'd pull over and change your fuel filter. That was about as complex a problem as you ran into. But the equipment has gotten so much more comfortable. My truck is built in the 90s, but it's been rebuilt twice, and I keep saying it's my last one. It's got to be my last one, but it's like driving a Winnebago. I'd rather drive it than a Cadillac Escalade.
Yeah.
And I lament the fact that my dad never got to drive anything this nice. We had a sleeper with a 24-inch by 15-inch hole you'd crawl through. Now you walk through or step over to the left and right and get into the sleeper. We had to crawl through a hole.
Yeah.
And when we were kids, my head was at one end, my dad's at the other, and we just lay there in the sweat for a few hours and get going again.
You've still got that 98 Kenworth, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have two trucks. One's a double frame, tri-drive, heavy axles for heavy haul, and then I've got the one that's like spec'd for hauling bananas or something, but it can haul lighter weight, 80,000 pound stuff. Yeah. And it's like you have two horses. One's a thoroughbred for trotting and racing, and the other one's a Clydesdale for pulling the plow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in your 56 years, I assume you have had many memorable hauls. What's one that really stands out?
The Vietnam Memorial Wall. If I can not get emotional talking about it, I've done that 3 times, and I'm scheduled to do it again this year. That is by far the highlight of anything I've hauled. And I hauled a lot of the building material for a religious building that we have in Nauvoo, Illinois, for our church. That was a special privilege to be able to haul that. But that memorial wall is pretty cool.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. And we're talking about, again, the Wall That Heals is that half-scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. It travels around the country. It really provides an opportunity for people to kind of visit, the wall without having to go to Washington, D.C. And, of course, recognizing and honoring those that lost their lives during the war there. Talk about, and you said it's an emotional thing for you. Take us back to it and how you got involved and kind of share that story, if you would.
Okay. The first time was we had a board member, Steve Davenport, and he was very involved with that project, and we were all impressed with his assignments on it and his dedication to it. He had the Gold Star moms. He had a truck painted with names of his Gold Star moms, his friends, and he died suddenly of a heart attack, and I was able to take his seat on the board. I was elected to his seat, and I also got to take that Vietnam Wall that he was going to take to his hometown. So I arrived in Texas and the night before, and I'm ready for the parade the next day. And let me tell you, I didn't have enough Kleenex in the truck. And it was a very tear duct cleaning experience.
Yeah.
And the people of Texas, they claim they're Texans first and Americans second, but you'd never know it because the streets were lined with people waving American flags like none of the other states I've been to. None of them have had as thick a crowds as the Texans. I've been in Texas twice with the wall.
Yeah.
And I just love going there because those people, they get it.
Did that surprise you, the reception that it got? I mean, what were you expecting, I guess, on that first run through?
Well, I was expecting some of that, but not the crowd that I saw. We went past every school in a 5-mile area, and the whole school comes out on the front lawn to wave and cheer. And then moms and dads, little kids are lining the streets, through the city. It's just a beautiful experience.
Did you expect it to be such an emotional experience?
No, I wasn't. That really caught me. Got one high school acquaintance. We weren't close buds or anything, but one high school acquaintance. It's on the wall, and that's always an emotional experience to go up and see his name on that 3/4 replica, and know that his twin sister, is somewhere without her brother. and look at all the names that of the families that were never formed because they didn't get a chance to live life like I have.
Yeah.
I was 1 year off of being called up. They started calling our numbers up. I had a high number in the lotto anyway, but they started calling us up, and then the war collapsed.
Yeah, you had called it. I know elsewhere you had called it almost like a spiritual experience, hauling the wall for the first time. Obviously, you've done it. I think you mentioned a couple more times since. For those who do what you do and are hauling the wall, it sounds like something that really is worthwhile. And maybe I would assume for other people too, something that they didn't expect was going to happen too. And obviously people have different connections to the war itself, but a very, I don't even know the word, very fulfilling experience in a way too, right?
Well, it's not kind of spiritual. It is spiritual. You have a real connection with the sacrifice and every one of us has got an ancestor somewhere up the line that made a sacrifice, to keep their family going, to provide, to protect every one of us. And it's up to us to do the same thing for the next generation. And we're programmed to provide and protect and filling our obligations.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned you're going to haul it again coming up this year. Does it get any easier hauling it, or is it still, that emotional experience?
Well, it's a load that when you're pulling that trailer, you want to have a clean truck and a clean shirt, and you want to look your best to present a good image for that. But it is getting easier, but I can still get emotional when you head out and you've got the actual veterans in front of you on motorcycles and trikes, because as you get that old, you don't want to fall over on a motorcycle. So some of them have switched to trikes.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the rest of the world on their motorcycles behind you. And it's a little mini glimpse of rolling thunder headed right to the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. And the wall's actually coming through here, I think in a week or two, through Buckner, Missouri. And I know OOIDA is going to have a contingent of people there as well for that event and welcoming people in. But it's certainly one of these things that if it's coming to your area, definitely check it out, because as you kind of point out, it's one of these things.
Yeah.
And I've been to the one in Washington, D.C., and it is a moving experience to walk along that wall and look at all of those names, which obviously, as you pointed out, represent, families and loved ones and friends. And when you put it all into perspective, it really is an overwhelming kind of experience.
Yes, especially the displays of things that have been left at the wall.
Yes,
they become part of the traveling exhibit, and those things are always changing with memorabilia from people remembering their lost ones. Put that stuff on display. It's very brings it to life, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's on its way to Emporia, Kansas, and that's probably when it's passing through Green Valley.
Yeah.
But then we'll take it from Emporia, Kansas to Spokane, Washington.
That's a haul.
Kind of a long drag.
Yeah.
And one thing that's been nice is that they've trusted me enough that they'll call me and say, the guy that was going to move this broke down and can't move it. Can you be here in 2 days? And I have deadheaded or bobtailed, 1,500 miles to go hook onto that thing and move it another 1,500 miles in the other direction.
Yeah.
Wow.
And end up, east of Chicago.
Yeah.
And I'm based in Utah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's a testament to how much it means for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing we wanted to talk to you about is shipping wars. I have to say, I think before I even started working here, when I had, heard about the association and the job opening, my husband was like, "I think somebody on Shipping Wars is part of OOIDA." Talk to me about that opportunity, how that came about, and what you did on there.
Okay. I have a good friend. He became my doctor when we both grew up out of trucking, and he went to med school, and I carried on with the trucking. His daughter became an employee of a production company, and she says, "Hey, Dad, you know a truck driver? Yeah, I'm looking for a truck driver for this show." And, gave him my number, and nothing happened. And then a few years later, they said, "Hey, are you still interested?" And, yeah, I'll do that. And it took 3 months, and I did it mostly so that my grandkids and great-grandkids and those yet unborn will be able to go look on a CD or something and hear their great-grandfather.
We should explain probably for folks who maybe haven't seen it. So this is a TV show, reality show on A&E, the network. And I guess maybe the name kind of explains it, but explain the concept to folks out there, who maybe haven't seen it, and kind of what your role became in the show.
Well, in this season, they went to brokers. Instead of having a load show up on a board and everybody bid on it, they just had a broker that would call you and say, "Hey, I've got this load. You want it?" "Oh, yeah, I'll take that." And then they would give you a piece of freight, and some of the things were just impossible to move. They sent me to Chicago once to move a caboose with only a step deck. And I said, "Hey, I got to go home and get my double drop."
Yeah.
And that, because that caboose will be like 17 and a half feet tall. And on the rusty side of the country, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Because the high bridge back there is like 14.6.
Welcome back to Trucking with OOIDA. When we left you, we were having a discussion with Doug Smith, OOIDA board member, about his career and everything else. We're going to rejoin that chat right now.
I'm curious, of course, with reality TV nowadays, we know that a lot of it probably isn't actually real. How real was this show?
The freight was real. The rates were not.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little bit contrived, but the actual, you picked up a piece of freight and delivered it to somebody who paid to have it there.
Mm-hmm.
And on time. And we always made the schedule. We didn't have any problems that way. But there were some interesting things, like an aircraft fuselage and an old sign for the Jesse James Motel. There was a guy in Chicago had quite the sign collection. He restored them. And, what was some of the other things? A jungle gym to be assembled, a workout station.
The one I saw was the Yogi Bear and the
that was the most fun.
Canteen,
that was it. Then that pirate ship about killed me when it started falling apart.
What was the Yogi Bear one?
It was for a franchise campground called Jellystone, and took a fiberglass Yogi Bear and Boo Boo and prefab cabin, took that to a new campground being built. That was a lot of fun.
Kind of like you're talking about, Ashley, though. You're talking about like, the Real Housewives, those shows where it's like there's drama and everybody's screaming at each other and,
Funny you should mention that.
Okay.
That's what makes good content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
If you don't screw up, that's not good content.
Yeah, and that's kind of Ashley's point. Were they kind of like throwing, curveballs at you? Yeah.
I know in that episode it was like, are they going to drop it? And
well, here's what happened on this one. I'm walking around doing a load check, and I see the box containing Yogi is coming apart. I said, "Whoa! I got to shoot some screws in this thing here and put it back together because the staple's pulling out." I had grabber screws and a drill, and I was going to put the crate back together. And the producer says, "Let's get that at the next stop."
Oh.
No, this is an unsecured load. It'll put us out of service. It's dangerous. And so he begrudgingly let me get my drill and grabber screws and put the box together to save the day. Or they would have loved to seen it
fall
out
on
the highway.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
and meanwhile,
Good,
you go
good
check the
content.
tape, and the producer is probably the one who was
Putting
taking it apart, 30 minutes before that.
I swear, if you were backing over somebody, they would just roll film
Yeah.
instead of yelling or something, because that makes good content.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I'm curious, how much attention did this bring to OOIDA? Because I think in most episodes I've seen, you've always had your OOIDA hat on.
Well, I couldn't tell you how much attention or inquiries they got from that, but maybe the next time they saw an OOIDA ad or something, they paid more attention. And I've got that bug screen on my truck that's the OOIDA logo, getting kind of faded now, and there aren't any more of them. But I'd always stand in front of that to do, talk about.
Yeah. What about you? Do you still get recognized, or do you ever get recognized as, hey, you look familiar? Have I seen you somewhere or anything like that?
I was in Hawaii at the Dole pineapple plantation, and these people are kind of pointing at me, whispering their kids, and the guy came up and said, "Is that you on Superman?" Yeah, it was me. Did you want me to sign an action figure for you or something?
Oh, wait, is there a Doug Smith action figure out there?
A bobblehead, maybe?
Can we get those?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I signed off all the rights to that when I was in the movie Sandlot.
Is that the only time? There's got to be more times than that you've been recognized.
Well, there was another one. I was at the Greeley, Colorado. There's a big meat packing plant there, and I was there unloading a trackmobile, throwing chains and walking around. And the guy in the hostler comes driving by and looks at me. I don't think a thing about it. And then he comes back again and he yells, "It is you!"
That's got to be a weird feeling to be recognized like that.
Oh, it's kind of fun. I mean,
yeah,
nobody's come up and thrown red paint on me or anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess you're not a real housewife of wherever, and
No.
you're not.
Utah or anything.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, throwing punches at anybody. So probably people are pretty happy to see you, I suppose. Yeah.
But the most fun I had on that was pretty fun. But I was in the movie Sandlot for 0.2 of a second. When you see the scene go to black and white, and you watch a crane lift the bathtub of water to feed the big monster dog over the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the crane operator, and I'm looking out the window at that crane right now. We still have it, and we use it for holding a flag most of the year. And for Christmas season, we have a Christmas tree on top of it. But
so you're in the movie.
when I tell people
briefly?
I'm in the movie Sandlot, they're really impressed. They don't believe it. I said, well, yeah, it's 0.2 of a second, but it's me.
But it's you. You're in there.
How did that happen?
My dad-in-law owned the crane, and they were looking for a period, a crane of that period, and he put me under it.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, see? Nobody's impressed with shipping wars.
Yeah.
Sandlot.
They're impressed with
Whoa,
that,
let's
yeah.
talk more about that.
Well, that movie's it's a cult classic, though, especially for baseball fans and people of a certain generation, for sure. I imagine that's a big part of it, too.
Yes. Everybody loves Sandlot.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
They recently had their 30-year anniversary here in Salt Lake where it was filmed.
I saw that. Actually, I went to a Royals game a month or two ago.
The actors
They had
there?
3 of the actors there. Or maybe, I think you were at that game too, maybe. There were 3 of the actors on the Jumbotron, and they talked about that. It was the 30-year anniversary of that. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. They're still around. They're still making the rounds. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about when they were having it here, I should take that crane down. No, that's too much work. Forget it.
Well, you could probably sell it on eBay now
Yeah.
for a pretty penny. Say, featured in the film Sandlot. And
yeah, I'm sure it's worth at least 2 cents a pound.
Probably, yeah. Well, hey, that would add up quick. Hey, Doug, real quick, I wanted to ask you too, and you were talking earlier about how you kind of got started in the industry and how you saw your father working hard and gained a respect for what he did over a number of years. We should talk about your family now too. Your son is also a truck driver. Kind of a full circle moment for that, I would imagine, in a way. How did that kind of come to be? And did you encourage him to go into trucking too, or did you discourage him, or how did those conversations go over the years?
Well, I've let kids go which way they want to go. I've got one son who's a tax accountant, has a very nice tax practice, another son who started out in the trucking with us, but he is now part trucking, but also he's in rock crushing and has gravel pit and produces material. And then the youngest son is, he likes it like I do because it's fun. You know, when people ask me, when are you going to retire? And I said, when it's not fun anymore. And most days are pretty dang fun. Sometimes they have to get after me to fill out an invoice for it. I got to turn in a ticket for that. Well, anyway, Harry, he's the son that likes trucking, and he has really got a good personality and with the customers, and they ask for him, and it's fun to watch him. He's on the phone all day long with a headset behind the wheel and organizing things and making things happen. And then he gives me my assignments. It's kind of the worm is turned, so to speak. I don't tell them what to do. They tell me what to do.
I'm curious now, you have 6 kids, right?
Yes.
In watching them grow up when they were kids, did you kind of pinpoint, like when you saw Harry, did you think, yes, this kid's he's gonna go into trucking?
There's the trucker right there.
I don't know that ever happened. It's like when you're 18, you're going to get your CDL. My dad said, I will make sure that you can feed yourself and not be a burden on society. And I did the same thing with mine. And even my tax accountant son, Dallas, still has a CDL. And Sam, runs the gravel pit. He has a CDL too. And then, so they all know how. It's just how far they want to take it.
Sure. Yeah, they've chosen their own paths.
Harry's, I had one low boy. Harry's got us up to like 6 or 7 of them now.
Yeah. When he was first starting out, do you remember giving him advice? And, this can go any number of ways. Obviously, as a father, you're kind of giving advice even when you're not giving advice, just by kind of being who you are and your actions and whatnot. But did you give him any advice when he first started down the path? And if so, what was that?
Regular oil changes. No,
Hey, that's good advice.
Good life advice. Yeah, generally. Yeah.
I can't think of any particular, but there's decades of fathering and parenting as you go along and make minor course corrections. But my kids have been inherently good. I've got a sister-in-law she's never married, but she is like a mother to 3 generations. She is now taking care of the grandkids. I don't mean taking care, but she's giving them cultural experiences, takes them to plays, takes them to museums, and takes them to church and gives them, reads the Book of Mormon with them every day. And it's just better than a second mother. I mean, it's like you can't hire that kind of help. As she says, you can't afford me, but I'll do it for free. So that's one big reason my kids have turned out so good. The daughters are just wonderful, and Kate, she works as a dispatcher here. She tells me what to do. She'll call me at 2 a.m. and say, hey, there's a railroad derailment. Get going.
And you say, yes, ma'am.
And off we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a sign of intelligence, I think, Doug. And saying, yes, ma'am, where do I go? Tell me where to go. Absolutely.
Well, if I want to start putting my 2 bits in, they always respond with, you want to run this, Dad?
Yeah, I do.
No.
Definitely do not.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Yeah. We're talking about advice to your son. As we kind of close things out here in just a few moments, Doug, you've got so much experience. You've got, I think we can safely say, wisdom when it comes to, the industry and how to succeed in it. When you look at people now, younger people who are trying to gain a foothold in the industry, which I think at this point in time right now is pretty difficult for a lot of folks out there. Aside from, regular oil changes, what would you tell them about how to do that and how to navigate this world and eventually become successful in it like you have?
I would say find out where you want to plant yourself and bloom there. Every time you change, okay, I'm going to try dry van. No, that's not working out for me. I'm going to go do this. And I'm going to try that for a while, and then I'm going to pull tankers. No. Figure out what you like the best. Get there, find your entry-level position, and be totally honest and dependable. If you are those things, dependable and honest, people will notice. And any dispatcher or company that says, I can give that person this load or this assignment or this project, and I don't have to worry about it again. I know it'll be done, and I know it's going to be fair. And that's what you're working towards. And it takes a long time, maybe even a generation. It may not be you that realizes the fruits of your labor. It may be your children. And that's the case for my kids. Because I gone through with my dad, picking through the garbage bin at Cummins to find enough pistons to overhaul an engine, and to go get a pickup load of pistons and sleeves and spend the Saturday cleaning them up to find 6 good ones that we could rebuild an engine with. My kids have never had to do that, where I've had to be in a truck all day long and be under it all night long changing a clutch and be back in it the next morning. But I've seen guys that would do 2 cylinders overhauled one night, manifolds off, head off, change 2 cylinders, back together again the next morning, and the next night do 2 more cylinders.
Yeah.
And on the 3rd night, he finished the overhaul. That's the kind of a dedication and suffering that we have done and make way for the next generation. And now my kids have no clue what that's like.
Yeah, which is the plan. That's the way you want it to be, right?
Well, yes, you want really, that's what parents want, is to make a better life for their kids.
Yeah.
So you may not be working for yourself. You may be working for the next generation, but that's what we're programmed for. They say rich people plan for, poor people plan for Saturday night, and the rich people plan for the next generation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. And great advice, I think, generally. Yeah. Star of television and movies, Doug Smith.
Yes. I'm also the bus driver in the Hallmark movie. But we can talk about that next time.
Yeah, all right. That's a good tease for the next time we get you on. Yeah. And Doug, we do plan to talk to you again here. And I think we want to speak to your son, Harry, as well, too.
Reach out to him to...
We're going to fact check everything you just said with Harry here at some point in the near future. But Doug, appreciate you talking with us. Thank you for that. And, thank you for 56 years of time in the industry and obviously being a positive contributor to everything that's going on out there. We really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you. We appreciate OOIDA, and that's why I'm a member, is because they fight for us.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Doug.
All right, have a great day.
Thanks to all the hardworking drivers across the U.S. from the Allen Lund Company.
Penske is the trusted source for quality used trucks. Whether you search our website, call our sales staff, or bid at our online auction, you are sure to find the right used truck for your business. Visit PenskeUsedTrucks.com to view our inventory and learn more.
High heat and low lubricity can break your diesel fuel down fast. Summer driving means crowded roads, more stress, dust, and a bigger risk of costly engine damage. How's Diesel Defender protects from the inside out, cleaning, lubricating, and fighting injector wear. Visit houseproducts.com.
Are you tired of the IRS following you around like a dark cloud? Call 888-557-4020 and get your life back.
At Truck Stop, we built a better load board for carriers like you. Sign up today and access over 600,000 loads on the most trusted online load board. Learn why the best in the business rely on Truck Stop to make more money and start driving your profit today.
Welcome back. Great talk with Doug, Ashley. Always good to hear from him.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Interesting guy, interesting life. Again, star of television and movies.
Yeah.
He's got quite a story to share there. Speaking of stories to share, I saw this one, Ashley, a little while back about phone etiquette that I sent your way. It came from a post on X from a recruiter who said he does a ton of phone interviews and said he's noticed something about Gen Z and their telephone habits, that he calls a lot of them about job opportunities. And when he does, a lot of them don't say anything. Apparently, when he calls them, not even a hello. When they answer the phone, he can hear them breathing. He can hear some background noise. He knows they're on the line, but that many of them wait for the other person to say hello first, the person who made the phone call. This set off a whole discussion online, as these kinds of things typically do, and here in the office as well. Anytime we kind of see a story like this, Ashley,
we all congregate.
Yeah, we tend to congregate around the desk of one of our colleagues here at the show, Tennille Flick, who, is it safe to say she's got strong opinions, solid opinions?
Strong would be an understatement, I think.
Strong is an understatement. So we thought, why not share her with the world? You just heard her there. So here she is, world, Tennille Flick. Tennille, how you doing?
I'm good.
So how do you answer the phone?
Hello.
Right.
Like most people should.
Right.
Or, I mean, even yo. Something.
You
don't pick up the phone and then just wait.
Yeah. No, you have a very distinct phone.
Oh, does she?
Voice. Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, you're very pleasant on the phone.
Well, at work, my work phone.
Yeah.
The work voice.
Phone, yeah.
The work voice. Yeah. But when we had this initial discussion too, I think it set off this thing because we have kids, and yours are older, so they answer the phone, I would assume. But we had this discussion. You even asked them too, like, hey, how do you answer the phone? And they all said what you said, right? They all said hello. They all say hello.
Yeah, basically. My youngest, who is almost 13. She was confused by my question, for one.
I had to reread this as well because I was like, wait, what are they saying?
Yeah. She was like, you mean, like, you're calling me and I answer, but I don't answer. I don't say anything. And I was like, exactly. And she was like, well, I wouldn't answer the phone. If I didn't know who it was, I wouldn't answer.
Right. That's what a lot of people do now with all the spam.
And rightfully so. That's fine.
Yeah.
Don't pick up the phone and sit
wait.
there.
Yeah.
Well,
it makes it awkward.
Especially because this is a recruiter.
Yes. Yeah.
And assume these people are looking for jobs. Like, say hello.
Well, not only that, but
it's scheduled.
They knew, exactly. They knew that this person was calling at this specific time, and they even had this person's phone number. So they knew they could have put that in their phone as like, this person will be calling at this time.
I will say the only time I do this is when it does look like a spam call. And if I do answer it, I'm like waiting because then it's like the automated like.
Yeah. Well,
so I guess that's the only
you can kind of hear that though. You can
there's like a pause
click or a pause or something. Yeah. But my question is it just habit for them? If they are anticipating this phone call, are they doing it intentionally or is it just habit because they don't do it any other time?
Or is it that nobody taught them? I think I try to put the shoe on the other foot kind of thing, with these situations where I think these are people who grew up without landline telephones, without actually having to call people. It's all texting and Snapchat and all that kind of thing. So maybe they were never taught how to answer a phone. I'm trying to give benefit of the doubt.
Etiquette.
Yeah, phone etiquette. Yeah.
That goes back to parenting.
Yeah.
I mean.
And you think with a little rotary phone that is usually a toy that your kids have. Hello.
Oh, yeah. Do they still even make a rotary phone toy?
Yep.
That's interesting.
My kids have those, yeah.
That's like a relic of the past.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to the Gen Z, and Gen Z did kind of respond to this and defend themselves in some of these cases, essentially saying, we get so many spam calls. This is just kind of default on what we do. And then there were other ones too. And I don't know, you got to take these things, for what they are. It's are they trolling? I don't know. I mean, one person said, why can't you speak first? You literally called me, which
that's not a great mindset, but carry on.
And then somebody, the whole point of the word hello was to have a specific greeting to signal that you picked up the phone. So yeah, I don't get it.
No, and the fact that this recruiter, like, this happened so many times that he actually, like, made a post about it is quite telling, I think.
Yeah. So it's happening a lot, exactly.
Yeah. What was he recruiting for?
A job.
Do we know?
Just some sort of job. I don't think he gave specifics on it.
Apparently, it's work from home, don't have to talk to anyone kind of job.
Hopefully,
Yeah. Not customer service, probably.
Could you imagine picking up the phone here and being like, well, you called me, so
what do you want?
Take it away.
I mean, I even take, what do you want?
Yeah.
As opposed to just silence.
Nothing, yeah.
Well, then it becomes a standoff, too. You're just sitting there in silence. The two people who's going to speak first.
Yeah. Well, I tested this with Chris
Your husband.
Yes, my husband. I called him. He answered, and Chesney was in the car with me, and we just sat there.
But you called him.
I called him.
Yeah, he said hello, I assume. Oh, wait, he didn't say hello?
Oh, no. No, you're right. He was calling me.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
And I answered, and Chesney and I just sat there. We didn't say anything. And you could hear him like, what?
Try to process what was going on.
Well, then she and I start laughing, and he was like, what's going on? So I had to tell him the whole thing, and he was like, yeah, I mean, I was about to hang up. I thought something was wrong. I thought maybe your phone was trying to connect to the car, and something was not working right. Exactly. Yeah. That's what you think
People
when
are
they don't
be
say anything.
They're not going to be...
You think something's wrong.
He didn't say anything before he hung up, or did he?
He heard them laughing.
Yeah.
They're there.
We didn't do a very good job of testing,
right?
But we tried.
Yeah, it's a generational thing.
It is, yeah. My kids I don't think are Gen Z, but they're more like when I'm on the phone, they're like, why can't we see them? Because they're just so used to FaceTime.
Yeah.
Which is like, imagine that concept when we were kids.
Well, that's the thing too, is like we were talking, like I'm not a huge fan of actually talking on the phone.
Yeah.
Like I will prefer text. I think like a lot of maybe younger people. I'm not young by any means, but I do wonder too, like as we go down the line here into the future, is it going to be just hologram? I mean, you see like Back to the Future or something. It's like a hologram call or something, Like, what do you do then? Like, you're going to have to say something, right, when you pick it up?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I will always say something.
Keep saying hello.
Say something. Yeah.
And if Gen Z's listening, say hello, please.
Yeah, it's like the thing. Like, I understand where they're coming from with the spammers and like, the fear of like having their voice stolen or whatever. But
I still don't understand that. Don't answer the phone.
Yeah, don't answer the phone.
Let
Just let it go to
voicemail.
voicemail.
It's as simple as that.
Yep.
If it's important enough, they will leave you a message.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved also too. Someone said, "You mean there's an audio version of the Gen Z stare?" Which I was like, that's pretty spot on. I kind of like that. Yeah, for sure.
That's funny.
Yeah. As we've talked about before, if you do say hello or don't say hello, I guess, give us
a good reason.
And have a good reason. Or if you have a reason or don't have a reason, let us know. We do have a hotline you can call in and you can say hello, 1-800-324-6856. You can also email us at podcast@ooida.com. So we've got a few ways to do that and to reach out to us. There we go. I think we hit it.
Don't just call in and breathe into the phone, though. Don't do that.
That's
That's creepy.
That's a different hotline.
Yeah.
We do not want those. We do not want those calls. You'll have to find a 1-900 number, I think, for that. Do they still have 1-900 numbers?
I don't think so, Scott.
What?
Do you even know what a 1-900 number is, Ashley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
There's a story there. Ashley just like, yes, I do know what a 1-900 number is.
I don't know because of you guys. Or like,
wait, no, time out. No,
just for your reaction. I know. But yeah, I don't know if those exist anymore. You got the internet, Scott.
I haven't thought of that in a long time.
Well, you're welcome. I don't know. All right. Well, that's an awkward note to end the show on today, but we'll do it right now. I'm Scott Thompson.
I'm Ashley Blackford.
This has been Trucking with OOIDA. Tennille, we thank you for your time. We'll have you back soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care out there. Have a great day. Today's episode of Trucking with OOIDA was brought to you by a dedicated team of people that includes Jim Fetzer, Keegan White, Tennille Flick, and Kim Boren.
Got thoughts? We'd love to hear them. Call us at 1-800-324-6856 and leave us a message. Or you can send us an email to podcast@ooida.com and we might include it on the show.